Hey, Dolphins fans, welcome back to the Fins Up Network. It's a big week. I kind of feel like this is like the unofficial kickoff to the real NFL offseason. Now it's Combine Week. So we got this week, we got Combine Week. Shortly after that, free agency starts with the new league year. Right after that, we got the NFL draft. And then we go into mini camps, training camps. And next thing you know, the season's here. So with that, today's video, I put together a list of prospects for the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine that we as Dolphins fans should probably keep an eye on. Some early round players. I got a few under the radar guys that don't get as much of the national media attention. But your homework assignment, like I said, we don't like a lazy listener. You got to do a little bit of work around here. If you agree with the players that are on the list, go ahead and give it the thumbs up. If you've got a couple of other guys that you would have added, go ahead, leave those in the comments. Excited to hear who you are looking at this week with the Combine, but I'm going to get things started here. The first person on my list of people that Dolphins fans need to watch, we're starting with the offensive line. And I know we're hearing it all the time. Free agency, free agency, free agency. That's where the Dolphins need to address the offensive line. And it's not that I disagree. I'm 100% on board with that route. But we know with free agency, anything goes. So if the Dolphins don't get one guy, two guy, three guys that they're looking at in free agency, they're going to have to lean on the NFL draft. So one of those guys to look at is Darian Kinnard, played at Kentucky, routinely was one of the best run blockers in the nation. Pro Football Focus graded him above, I think it was like 89 or 90. The last 3 seasons he was at Kentucky. Read some stuff. He was at tackle. He potentially fits in as a guard at the next level. But with that kind of versatility, depends on where he lands. That team can decide what they're going to do with him. But it's fine for Miami. They need help all over the offensive line. He projects as a second rounder, so keep an eye on him. Next guy on my list that we need to pay attention to, Wisconsin linebacker, Chenal. So this linebacker, you put on the tape, he just thrives in a blitz-heavy scheme. Guess what? It's exactly what Miami is. He led the Badgers in both sacks and tackles for loss in both 2020 and 2021. Big hitter. Put on the tape. That's the first thing you're going to see. He's a solid between the tackles tackler. Anything outside, I don't know anyone he want to struggles with, but it's not one of his best strengths. He's great against the run. He rated out as, I think it was the top run defender in Pro Football Focus in college all of last year. Doesn't really provide much in regards to pass coverage, but if you're looking at Chenal, you're probably looking around the 4th, 5th round. Next prospect I think we need to keep our eye on, a running back. And this isn't one of those early, your top 3, your Spillers, your Kenneth Walker. We're not looking at those guys right here. We're looking at a guy that projects more as like a 5th rounder, and that's Jerome out of Cincinnati. He started his career at Alabama, transferred to Cincinnati. He actually shared the backfield a little bit with Jared Dokes while he was at Cincinnati. But he's got the vision. He's got the power. He is straight business as a running back. He's not a burner. He can get moving a little bit once he's in the open field, but he's not terribly shifty as a runner. He's going to get you the tough yards when you need him. Like I said, he probably projects more so around about the 5th round. So if the Dolphins don't go right away early with the running back, keep an eye on Jerome Ford. Next guy you got to pay attention to this week, a couple of obvious reasons. Zion Johnson, offensive line, Boston College. He was also a transfer. He started his career at Davidson, transferred last 3 years, played guard at Boston College. Super consistent player. He only allowed 6 pressures all of last year, and he has those obvious ties to the Dolphins now. The new offensive line coach, Matt Applebaum, who was the offensive line coach at Boston College while he was there. Unlike some of these other guys I talked about, he's going to go fairly early in the draft weekend. He projects probably as a 1st, maybe 2nd round pick. But if you're going to get Zion Johnson, you're probably going to have to invest one of your first 2 picks in him. Next player on the list, one of the greatest names in this year's draft as well, Minnesota edge rusher Boye Mafe. Fantastic name already. Going to just in love with this guy. Him, Sauce Gardner. Every time I hear the name Sauce, I just think of the Delonte West video where he's going through the KFC drive-thru and he raps about hot sauce and everything. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry for alienating you, but you need to YouTube search that after you watch this. You need to watch that video. It is life-changing. One of the best songs of all time. But Mafe projects as a 3-4 rush outside linebacker. He has been steadily rising up draft boards. He had an impressive week at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, that helps. Explosive player. One of the best get-offs on the snap in the entire class. One thing about him, when you're watching him against the run game, he sort of gets stuck on blocks every once in a while. But that's kind of to be expected from a young player. I think right away, if you draft a guy like Mafe, you're probably going to feature him more on the passing downs early in his career until he gets his feet wet, until he gets the experience and learns a little bit more about how to play the run game at the next level. But he projects as a second, third rounder. I've actually seen some mocks with him in the first. So once again, that's a guy that you're going to have to spend some early draft capital on. And wrapping up my list, actually another great name, Chad Muma, linebacker out of Wyoming. He's 6'3". He's 240 pounds. He's got legit NFL size and athleticism already. Whoa, what happened there? I'm all right, if you're wondering. He rarely misses tackles. He performs very well as a pass defender. The one concern I would have about Muma, it's that level of competition. Playing at Wyoming all those years, you're not playing against the upper echelon. But regardless, he projects pretty well, probably as a second rounder. So if Miami addresses the linebacker position, which I think we're all going to see him either doing free agency or the draft or a combination of the two, if they go with that line or if they go with a wide receiver in the first round, look for Muma potentially as one of those linebackers in the second round. But that's what I got. Like I said, if you enjoy the list, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have other players in mind, if you want to drop a comment, by all means, leave a comment there for me as well. Enjoy the scouting combine this week. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. Until then, see you later, Dolphins fans.